this is the last video in our little music theory series, and today we're going to be talking about the flats. So if you watched my previous video, you know that the order of the flats is the reverse of the order of the sharps. So the order of the sharps is Father Charlie goes down and eats breakfast. So the reverse of that is okay. So when you see one flat, in your key signature, I'm sorry, my hair looks absolutely crazy. I'm sorry about that. When you see one flat in your key signature, it's B flat. When you see two, it's E flat. When you see three, it's A flat. So they just kind of continue. So if you're looking at a bunch of flats and you want to know what key it is, the trick is you take the last flat and then you go back one, and that is the key. So this is the key of E flat. Okay, and this is major. Minor is something different. Okay, so if you reverse that and you want to start with a key signature, let's say we have the key of A flat, what we're going to do is we take this and then we just add another flat, and that's how many flats are in the key. So this is the key of A flat, and we want to know how many flats. It's all of the flats up to A flat plus one more. So there are 4 flats in this key. Does that make sense? I'm not sure. Hopefully that you're following me. And let's see. I think that might be it. I can't remember what else we did in the other video. Let's see, we did the order of the sharps. And then, we need to make a hand pattern. Okay. So if let's say we're doing the key of E flat. So remember, E flat, we need to figure out how many flats there are. So it's B, E, and then add one more. So there are 3 flats in this key signature. So if we want to draw the order, if we want to draw a little hand pattern so we know where our fingers go, right? Here's our strings. And we're going to just go right up each string. So the next note up from G is A, but it's an A flat, so that's a half step up. Okay, so there's our A flat, that would be your first finger. And then the next note up from A flat is B, but we have a B flat, so that's a whole step up. And then we have C, which is a whole step. And then we have D, which is a whole step. So you've got a bunch of, this is really a stretched out hand pattern. You're starting on a half step and then you got a bunch of whole steps there. So if you were trying to figure out what this would sound like, start with this interval from G to A flat and get your jaws, da-dum, da-dum, and then when you play 1, 2, 3, you have do, re, mi, and then you could do 2, 3, 4, which is also do, re, mi. Okay? I mean, of course, use your tuner as well, but if you just kind of were trying to figure out where your fingers go based on your ear. Okay, so the next note up from D is E flat. So there's our E flat. Then we have an F, we have a G, and we have an A flat, so I've got to move G on the other side here. Right there. Okay, keep on going. We have still this low one carrying over. In fact, that's going to go all the way over here. We have a B flat, and we have a C, which is a whole step, and then we have a D, which is a whole step, and an E flat, and then you've got F, G, A flat, and then B flat. Okay, wait, whoops. Yeah, that's right, I'm sorry, I lost myself for a moment. Okay, so as you see, if you look at this hand pattern here, we've got this extended third finger hand pattern on the bottom 3 strings. 1, 2, 3. The only difference is on the bottom string you have a whole step for your 3/4. On the middle 2 strings you have a half step. And then on the top string you have your basic hand pattern. It's just shifted down a half step, so you're starting on a half step. So if you've been practicing your hand patterns, like your basic hand pattern, your low 2 hand pattern, and your extended 3rd finger hand pattern, then all you have to do is just shift everything down a half step. You've got your intervals, your ears are all tuned up to listen for whole steps and half steps, and this should be a super breeze. Just watch whenever you have a string crossing, you know, when you're going up the strings, it's a little easier because your fingers are building on top of each other, but when you're coming back down, like when you're coming from 1st finger down to 4th finger, it can be a little ambiguous going from 1 all the way to 4. So I would suggest that you keep your 1 there, and just to practice, keep this down and then cross 2nd finger over a whole step, put a whole step on top, and then put your half step on top of that, and that's how you're going to find your E flat. You just played your 2nd finger on the E string, so it should be it's the same distance, it's just on a different string. Cross it over, build 3rd finger on top, and then put your 4th on top, just so you can kind of train your fingers, and then you've got your other fingers as you continue down. And just every time you go from 1 to 4, just build up. So start with your 1st finger, leave that there, cross 2nd finger over a whole step, build up another whole step, put a half step on top, and that's how you would find your A flat and all your other fingers. And with time, you're not going to need to do that process, but at least you're going to be training your fingers to feel distances, and you'll be training your ears to hear these kinds of intervals. So I hope that makes sense. It's not a very long video, but I think that might be one more video in this series. We'll see. See you soon. Bye.